Have you ever wondered, since the wealth of the rich accounts for 80% of society's total wealth, wouldn't it be enough to just let the rich consume? This question touches the very core of capitalism. There are several inherent flaws in capitalism that it can't overcome, flaws that Marx identified, leading him to propose socialism. The first flaw, the Matthew effect, is unavoidable. This isn't just a problem of capitalism, but of all private ownership systems. Simply put, in a system of private ownership, big fish eat small fish. The big fish grow bigger, the small fish fewer, and eventually, when the small fish are gone, the entire ecosystem collapses. In the early stages of private ownership, when societal resources are abundant and everyone starts on a relatively equal footing, the system promotes productivity. More work means more reward, and everyone dreams of a better future. However, in the middle stages of development, large capital gains an overwhelming advantage. At this point, small businesses and individuals without capital feel immense pressure. For instance, Coca-Cola leverages its scale to reduce costs, making it nearly impossible for smaller players entering the market to compete. Absent a disaster or industrial revolution, big companies almost always win. Worse yet, large corporations can deliberately lower prices to drive smaller ones out of business. Companies like Uber and DoorDash burn cash in their early stages to dominate their markets, securing a monopoly as they expanded their reach. While competition at this stage can still appear fair, as resources dwindle, the behavior of big capital becomes increasingly predatory. When the small fish run out, the big fish turn on each other. This mirrors the history of feudal societies, where, in times of abundance, landowners and peasants coexisted. But as resources became scarce, landlords used both legitimate and exploitative means to acquire more land, consolidating power and wealth. The result? An unsustainable system that led to rebellions and eventual regime collapse. The lesson is clear. As long as private ownership persists, the Matthew effect will always exist. Many argue there are good capitalists or landlords. And while that may be true, the flaws of capitalism aren't about morality. They're systemic. As a character in the movie Let the Bullets Fly aptly put it, your goodness or badness is irrelevant. Your absence is what matters most. The second flaw, capitalism doesn't prioritize productivity. Wealth can grow in two ways: creation and transfer. Creation involves making the pie bigger, like the leap from gathering fruits in primitive societies to farming in agricultural ones. Transfer, however, involves taking from others, either through legitimate means like trade or violent ones like war. Historically, wealth transfer has been a zero-sum game. One person's gain is another's loss, leading to inevitable conflict. For society to develop harmoniously, we must focus on wealth creation and minimize wealth transfer. But capitalism doesn't work this way. Its primary goal is capital appreciation, regardless of the method. Early capitalists focused on production because societal wealth was low, and increasing productivity was the fastest way to build wealth. However, once capital accumulates beyond a certain point, production becomes tedious and slow. Enter finance. Banks, loans, and investments that allow wealth to grow passively. When capital is small, interest has little impact. But for those with massive wealth, interest income can lead to financial freedom, earning millions while doing nothing. Take landlords as an example. They produce nothing, but earn wealth comparable to top professionals. This is the allure of capital. Effortless wealth accumulation at the expense of countless workers. It's no wonder many wealthy entrepreneurs eventually abandon manufacturing for real estate or finance, drawn by the allure of passive income. This explains why efforts to redirect capital back to manufacturing often fail. Capital flows to what's easiest and most profitable. If not real estate, then cryptocurrency or the stock market. Why work when you can earn without effort? The third flaw, capitalism ultimately destroys consumer power. This is perhaps the most critical issue. If the rich control 80% of wealth, why not just encourage them to spend? The problem is, while wealth accumulation is limitless, consumption is not. For wealth to have meaning, it must circulate. Money that doesn't flow is just paper. Capitalism initially stimulates consumption, but as the Matthew effect progresses, it suppresses consumer power. The more wealth is concentrated in fewer hands, the less there is for the average person. Without widespread consumption, the economy stagnates. Capitalists themselves are trapped in this system. Once they enter the game, their sole task is to grow their wealth to avoid being overtaken by competitors. This relentless focus on growth drives capitalism's inherent instability. The conclusion: a cycle of crises. Capitalism, in its current form, cannot overcome these three flaws. Eventually, it leads to economic crises or wars, resetting the system after catastrophic loss of life. Whether socialism offers a solution remains uncertain, but capitalism's roadblocks are clear. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.